Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Aaron.
I'm Eric.
Howdy, it's RJ. Today, we are going to be playing the Decker Dude game. But before that, let's talk about our signature card.
It's not Decker Dude, it's just like Decker Dud. I just misspelled it. Leave me alone.
It's not Decker Dude!
Okay, yes, good.
I guess it's called the Decker Dude game
Nope,
now.
nope.
It's Decker
Yes,
Dude.
every episode of the Planeswalkers Pub will feature a signature card that may or may not relate to the episode's topic.
Today's signature card is Allure of the Unknown. Allure of the Unknown costs 3, a black and a red. It is a sorcery from Theros Beyond Death. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them. Then you put the rest into your hand. That opponent may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost.
Wait, 1 second. Did you just say Theros Beyond Death? Aaron, why is our signature card a card that's not even out yet?
There's a bunch of new stuff that's coming out with Theros Beyond Death, and we are technically going to do like a set review later on. But this card came out like today, and I was like, I really want to talk about this card. So, downside, and let's get this out of the way. Downside, your opponent gets to select a card from your top 6, and they get to cast it for free. So that is a downside. However, the upside is you're drawing 5 cards.
Yeah, and Rakdos isn't exactly known for drawing cards.
Let alone 5 cards.
This kind of reminds me of those red cards, you know, those enchantments that say you may play the top card of your deck.
Or like the Chandras or something like that.
Yeah, there's a Chandra that does it. There's a couple enchantments. Things of that effect, except it's twisted on its head with your opponent gets the 1 and you get 5.
Watch someone take an extra turn with this, or, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, because the cool thing is that it's not just a single color. It is, like you mentioned, it's Rakdos. So if someone's going to take an extra turn, they would have to be in blue as well. And you're probably, if you're in blue already, you're not going to be running this because you've got draw cards. Worst case scenario, because we fought the guy that runs the...
Lord of Riots?
Yeah, the Lord of Riots deck or whatever, where he's just running just like kind of big Eldrazi's and crazy stuff like that. So worst case scenario, your opponent gets an Eldrazi. Best case scenario, they just get like the weakest thing of that hand. But even still, it's like you're drawing 5 cards. You'll be able to deal with it.
It's target opponent, right?
Yes.
Choose the player that has the colors you don't have. Be like, you're playing a Rakdos deck. Give it to the mono green player. Good luck, buddy.
Well, they can cast it without paying the mana cost.
Oh, never mind then.
But even still, like, if you're in Rakdos, you're typically, like murder, burn spell, stuff like that, since whatever. So it's like, okay, well, I get these 5 cards, you get this on murder. That's pretty decent.
They could get your Harvester of Souls. They could get your Dictate of Erebos. They could get your Grave Pact. They could get any of your great combo pieces.
That's true, but once again, you're drawing the additional 5 cards. So you're drawing, like, that Supreme Verdict. You're drawing, not Supreme Verdict. You're drawing that, like, Damnation.
Yes.
Is black.
It is Damnation.
I can't. It's Damnation. Where I think I always get confused with me. Anyway, like
They're the same card except different colors.
basically, you're getting.
Literally, it's planar shift.
Color shifts.
They're getting the 1 card that actually is good, but you're getting the other 5 that can deal with that 1 card.
That mountain, that swamp, that other swamp, and that other mountain.
I mean,
And they got the 1 creature card.
Don't get me wrong. That would actually be the worst thing, that's probably the worst you can possibly get. Is like
Maybe not, though, because then those 4 lands are out of the way, so you can draw something you need.
yeah, that's true. Don't give them an option at that point.
Or maybe you needed those lands because Rakdos isn't exactly known in Ram colors.
I don't know. I like this card. It's really cool.
Me too, man.
I do
Drawing
too.
5 cards, like, that's insane.
Yeah, drawing 5 cards. It's just good.
It also kind of reminds me a bit of Wishclaw Talisman in the last set a bit.
Yeah.
Since you're using something and then you're passing it to your opponent. Because if this is one-on-one, you're playing it, and then the one opponent across from you gets it. Definitely more interesting in multiplayer. This could also be used as a politics card.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I notice you're falling behind. Let's make an alliance and I'll give you one of the best cards. It may even be a card that you can't even cast yet because you may not have enough mana to do it.
Or even better, like if you already have an alliance with someone, like we always just make those smaller lines and stuff in that sense. You're like, hey, just pick this, whatever. You obviously get to choose whatever you want, but I recommend, can I have this and this? I actually also think this is technically better than Witchclaw Talisman, because with Witchclaw, it's a demonic tutor. You don't get to see what they're getting, but with this, you know 100% what they're getting, so you can just deal with it.
Well, also, they're casting it immediately. They can't hold on to this like a Witchclaw Talisman.
Yeah, they are. Casting it immediately. So then, yeah, that's even better.
Definitely a high-risk, high-reward type of card. Definitely in the Rakdos style.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what exactly is this Decker Dude game?
So once again, it's Decker Dud. I just can't spell. But
It's Decker, dude. Give it up.
so it's a game where you actually are given it's a game where you're given 3 seemingly random cards. And then you have to actually make a deck or strategy that uses these cards themselves. This is also in the concept of the Commander format. So obviously a singleton, and you have to basically keep with these colors. There will be points given, which may or may not matter. And they also get extra points if you can name a commander that will go well with these cards. It's important to note that although you don't technically need to cast all of these cards, a lot of them aren't going to play well together, but it's just nice to see kind of how it would work. One example I can actually give of a Decker dude would be Helm of the Host, which is a 5-mana artifact that equips for... I'm wrong, all right.
Other way around, I think. It's a 4-mana artifact that equips for 5.
Yes. Helm of the Host, which is a 4-mana artifact that equips for 5. An equipped creature, or when you go to combat, you create a token of equipped creature. If a creature is a legendary, the token is not legend.
And it gains haste.
And it gains haste, which is always nice. Act of Treason, which you literally just target an opponent's creature, gain control of it, untap it, it gains haste. And Ant Queen, which is 3 green for a 5/5 insect, and it has activated ability, 1 in the green, put a 1/1 green insect creature token onto the battlefield. So the question is, okay, well, what's the strategy with this? Well, you can go a token swarm with a theft sub-theme, and for the commander, let's just use Xenagos. Simple like that. And that answer is probably worth like 25 points.
Those strategies seem kind of at odds with each other. I mean, I suppose you could use the Xenagos pump on the thing you active treasoned, but I don't really see what Ant Queen has to do with anything.
That's the beauty of it. That's
The Helm of the Host, you can double up Xenagos with it and get multiple Xenagos triggers. Then you can spread those Xenagos triggers out along that army of ants and do some ridiculous stuff.
That's true, but in order for that to work, Xenagos needs to already be a creature.
Well, if he's your commander, then, you'll work around it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, rules, schmools.
All right. Let's get to the game. So, I'm up first because that's just how that works. All right, so the first card that the first set that we're actually mentioning is Rites of Flourishing, which is 2 in a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, and each player may play an additional land each turn. Then we have Dictate of Karametra, which is 3 green for an enchantment with Flash. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land produces. And then we have Mana Barbs. Mana Barbs is 3 in a red for an enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, Mana Barbs deals 1 damage to that player.
What are you doing to me, man? How much?
Eric, what you got?
Ruick Thar. Hands down, this is a Ruick Thar kind of deck. Oh, you want to play cards? Well, you're going to get punished for it. Every non-creature spell you play, you're going to get domed for 6. Every time you even tap your lands for mana, you'll take damage for it. Is that extra mana really worth it?
I like your thinking.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was thinking just some Naya stuff. Just like dinosaurs, I guess.
Just adding the white, going just to straight Naya.
Yeah, just going Naya. Like the Mana Barbs is the little bit of hate here and there.
You get your mana and your card draw. Maybe a little group huggy with a little group hatey. I'll give you a hug, but it's a little sharp hug.
Wow, I honestly I was gonna give it straight to Eric, but like adding the white to the Naya to make it just basically Dino tribal, just like big stompy, because you don't have the mana for
but
it.
there's no theme with it. Like, not to fight against myself, but like.
I do like the really big stompy, but I'm gonna give it to Eric. Just because the Ruick Thar, like that does actually kind of make sense. Mainly because you're like, hey, I'm giving you options to cast things. I'm even giving you discounts on mana. However, every time you do, get burned for a fuck ton. All right, cool. First round goes to Eric.
Yay!
All right, next up, Eric. What's your set?
Thran Temporal Gateway, which is a 4-mana artifact. You pay 4 and tap it, and you can put a legendary
It's just
historic, which is artifact or legendary creature
Or saga.
Which no one plays.
or planeswalker.
Yeah, so Planeswalkers play, but definitely play.
Planeswalkers are legendary, so it
Yes.
works under that rule.
Permanent onto the battlefield. Yep.
Permanent onto the battlefield. So it's Quicksilver Amulet or Elvish Piper for, well, all those things we just mentioned. Hydra Omnivore, which is a 4 and 2 blue, so 6 CMC creature Hydra, 8/8. Whenever he deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. And Grand Melee, which means each creature must attack if able, and each creature must defend if able, or block.
I was thinking more as like a Thantis, just kind of like Beastie Boy attacks every single turn type deal. And you've got the Thran in order to get around the haste factor, because you can kind of just like cheat out other legendary creatures, or maybe like a weird planeswalker-y style tribal thing. I don't know. That's all I got.
I was thinking, because I have Marisi, just do a Marisi Force Fight.
Fuck.
Same thing. The thing I already owned. It's. I had these cards in that deck. It's. You use the Thran Temporal Gateway to cheat out your legends, like your to cheat out some of the gods for a little cheaper, or your Great Henge. Get that out for 4 mana rather than 5 or 8 or however much it costs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you use Hydra Omnivore to get the damage in and finish it. Use that to win the game. Plus the Grand Melee to just make sure things are tapped and chaos is ensuing.
I'm going to have to say this is a draw, because both of you kind of came up with the same idea of forced fight. It just one has... They're both Gruul, but they both either added white for Marisi or black for Thantis. So I'd say you both get half a point. Is that allowed? I mean, I know
Let's
you
give
didn't
us
really
nothing.
put
I
rules.
mean, you're the judge
Give us
currently, so
nothing.
yeah, I guess half a point it is.
Yeah, half a point.
All right, so I got a half a point.
I've got a half a point.
He has a point.
He has a point.
So Eric's ahead. All right.
All right. Round 3.
Round 3. All right. I wish y'all luck. These are ridiculous. So the first card, Muldrifter, costs 4 into blue. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, or you can evoke it for 3.
Yeah, it's like 2 in a blue.
2 in a blue. You can evoke it and just ETB, draw 2 cards.
And then it immediately sacks itself.
Yeah, and then it immediately dies if you echo it out. Then there's Holy Day. 1 white, prevent all combat damage. It's a white fog. Then, Sword of Feast and Famine. 3 colorless. Pro black, pro green. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. And they get +2/+2. Good luck.
So we definitely have to be an Azorius for those cards, but Feast and Famine is luckily a colorless artifact.
Yes. Go into the tank.
So, a commander that could use this, I would suggest, is the Geist of Saint Traff.
That's what I was thinking, right? Guys, the same.
One white and 1 blue for a 2/2 legendary spirit cleric with hexproof, and whenever it attacks, Put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the end of combat. So equipping him with Feast and Famine enables him to swing in, discard a card, and untap your lands, which you can then protect yourself with Holy Day that you have in hand. Or, in main phase 2, evoke out that Muldrifter.
All right, that's good. That's good. But
Pretty decent.
that's pretty decent. I'm actually going to take it the opposite direction and go with Lavinia Azorius Renegade. Just Azorius, so white and a blue for a 2/2, and each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands they control. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter it. So I'm thinking a
Lavinia Voltron.
yes.
Lavinia Voltron.
That's the thing. Yes and no. So I'm actually thinking about like Lavinia, not so much stacks, but kind of just like unblockable type Lavinia shenanigans. So like you get a bunch of like unblockable or like shrouded creatures or something in that sense. You just swing in with a bunch of swords or just different pump effects, and you kind of just fog the combats with Holy Day and a bunch of other just counter spells and stuff like that in order to kind of just stop everything to basically keep your opponent on edge.
So make up for the fact that Azorius isn't great at ramping by just preventing your opponents from utilizing their ramp.
Exactly. And then constantly keeping the cards out of their hand with hitting them with the sword over and over again. Use basically, like I said, the Holy Day to kind of just stop all combat from everyone, not just you. And because if you're running a bunch of unblockable creatures, typically they can't block themselves. So running like Holy Day or a bunch of unsummons and just bounce spells, might even be able to splash, like, or not splash, but like maybe switch it over to something with green to kind of just get a full-blown just fogs.
This one was hard because these 3 cards are kind of universally good. So it's kind of hard to think of just one that could use them.
Judge?
I really want to go with Eric because he was thinking what I was thinking. But Lavinia the way you described your Lavinia one sounded really good.
Because it sounds like a really cool deck.
It sounds like a cool deck. It sounds like something I would want to build. But honestly, what I would really want to do is make that idea with the Lavinia deck, but use Saint Draft. Use the Geist.
Okay.
So I'm... Let me roll a die to choose, because I don't want to...
Don't do
I don't
that.
want to...
Someone's got to win. Might as well be me.
Might as well be me. All right.
I'm playing to the judge. What's good?
I played to the judge more because I did what he was thinking.
He did do what I was thinking, but like...
Yeah, but I gave him a cool fucking deck, which
Shroudy
I actually might
and
want to run my damn
punchy
self.
But Geist of St. Draft on his own is punchy and hex-proofy and...
I mean, Lavinia doesn't care about equipment or any of the stuff you talked about. She's made for stacks. She might as well be a 2/2 vanilla for what you want to use her for, Aaron.
But that's the thing. Is the fact that this stops board wipes early on because she comes out at 2. So it basically means like it stops most board wipes. You might even be able to drop in like a bit of land destruction because you're in whites to kind of just start taking that out. Like, think about it this way. Like, you've got a decently sized board or whatever. You've got your Lavinia out. You've got your sword. And... you swing it with you tap out, play some stuff, swing with your sword, and it's unblockable. You hit, untap, tap some more stuff, leaving open exactly 4 mana, playing more stuff, and then you Armageddon. Like, at this point now you're against a horde of unblockable stuff with the sword still on board, and you can't do shit. And oh wait, I want to use this ability or that ability, or I want to like cast my own like board wipe. Well, you can't because you don't have 4 lands.
That sounds like so much work. I'd rather just play Lavinia and then do
The knowledge pool combo.
the knowledge pool lock.
That could be in the deck too.
Convince me a Saint Draft of your deck idea again, real quick. Just like a Voltron-y Geist of Saint Draft type deal.
Yeah, funnily enough, Voltron, Geist of St. Traft type deal. He already has hexproof, so you don't have to worry about him being sniped off the board right away. He comes out 3 mana, so he's relatively cheap. He makes those angel tokens, and if you have Cathar's Crusade or Anointed Procession, you get more of them, and they come out tapped and attacking. So he's 6 damage on board right away.
Okay.
Adding in the equipments and enchantments, he's even more.
All right. I think one thing I do gotta say is neither of you used Muldrifter that well. Don't get me wrong. Could you have used Muldrifter well? I don't think so. But Muldrifter was not used very well.
In my defense, then I did mention that I'm running a lot of like blink effects and just bounces, so that could always just
3 mana for 2 cards. If you have to spend more mana and more cards to get it, isn't really great. But I think I do got to go with Geist of Saint Traft.
Fuck.
Eric, I'm gonna give you 200 points.
damn it.
So we're gonna move on to the next round.
So that's
Feels-
2 points to your guy's half point.
It's 200 points.
Oh, right.
You're at 201. We're at a half a point.
That's how that works. All right.
Hey, you didn't say. You said there are rules. You make it up
That's
yourself.
fine.
I chose 200 points for Eric. He gets 200 points.
Next round. Speaking of Armageddon, let's talk about next round.
Armageddon.
Yeah, right. Next round has Armageddon. 2.
Armageddon is, I think, 3 and a white. I think it's 3.
Yeah, it is 3 and a white.
It's just 3. Okay, yeah.
Armageddon, 3 and a white, destroy all lands. You also have Hex, which is like 7 black.
Is that dumb card where you need exactly 6 creatures to kill?
Yes.
Ugh.
So Armageddon, 3 and a white, destroy all lands. Hex, 4 black, destroy 6 target creatures. And as our last one, Leyline of the Void. Your opponent's.
So I noticed in the last rounds, we kind of didn't really say if things were a deck or a dude. I'd say this combination of cards is definitely a dude.
This is a deck. This is so a deck. This is what I've been wanting to make for all my life. This is board wipe tribal, baby. You're gonna run every single board wipe in those colors. You're gonna run every single like land destruction you can get. Anything that says destroy all, exile all. We're gonna run all of them.
This
And
is
Leyline
going
of
to be
Void-
the no game of Magic.
Exactly.
Nobody gets to play. You don't get to have your lands. You don't get to have your creatures.
You don't
and
get
what
to
was
have your
the third?
graveyard.
Don't
You got
get to have
Leyline
your
of the
graveyard,
Void.
yeah. Throw in some black discard. You don't even get to have a hand.
Right. You know who the commander is? I don't care if it's illegal. Braid's Cabal Minion.
I mean, Braids is mono black. You can't run that with white Armageddon.
Screw your rules.
Any Orzhov command, I think, can be here.
Oh yeah, I would splash in blue. Make this Esper, make it more toxic. Counter spells. You don't get to cast anything. You don't get to play anything. You don't get a graveyard. The commander would be.
No, I wouldn't put blue in. I'd put in green.
Wait, hang on. So you're also going with board wide tribal?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I put Jave. The
Gaze
guy.
Guru of Spores.
Yeah, the
He's
guy,
Abzan.
the Abzan guy who makes Saprlings, just so you always hit that requirement for Hex, even if it's your own creatures. Because Hex fails if you don't have the right amount of creatures on it.
Oh, you know what? My commander would be Aloro, so I could gain 2 life a turn on top of screwing all of you over.
All jokes aside, I legitimately can't think of a real deck that would use all 3 of these cards,
I mean, that
because
sounds-
Hex is just so terrible.
It is really, really
Like, just one of the worst cards ever printed. Armageddon is decent, but you need some gimmicks like Avacyn, which makes all your stuff indestructible. Or Kalia, who grabs things from your hand so you don't even really need mana. What was the other card? The third card? Leyline of the Void?
Yeah.
That's just a general anti-graveyard hate. I mean,
The deck would
if
just
you're
be called
running
hate.
it, you're
The deck
probably
would just be
not
called-
running any animation of your own, because Leyline would screw with that.
Well, no, Leyline hits only your opponents.
This deck isn't supposed
Oh
to
yeah,
win.
I keep forgetting that.
Most people do. All right.
This deck is not supposed to win. This deck is supposed to make you hate me.
Well, here's the thing. It did make you win because that deck sounds fucking amazing. Like, it would be the actual worst, the literal worst to go up against. But that's a story and a half you could tell people. Like,
Yeah, it is. What's the most terrible Orzhov commander you can think of, just to be the cherry on the top of this shit sundae?
Oh, the Obsidat. The one that like blinks itself if you sack creatures, and then it comes in and deals damage.
Oh, what, the council?
Yeah, the Ghost Council, the Obsidat, I think.
Oh yeah, the one that drains every time. That is annoying, and it can definitely work with no creatures, and it blinks away from your board wipes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was all right. RJ gets this round.
Yeah,
That
RJ
was-
definitely gets
that
it.
was- that was
no contest.
That was
I want at
hot.
least a quarter of a point for that one.
I don't know. You're getting like I'm giving you 50 points for that because that was hot. Like, that was
Still
super.
behind Eric.
Well, I can help you give him 200 fucking points, mate. All right. Where are we at? Round 4?
It's my turn.
Sure.
Let's see, guys. Figure this one out.
I don't like the look on your face right now, Eric. It's making me very nervous.
From a person that gave him these cards, believe me, I don't like the look on his face either.
Next time we do this, we're looking up our own cards.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Overflowing Insight,
Oh, God.
which is... Yeah, I had to look up what these cards were. Thanks,
Oh.
Aaron.
This card.
4 and 3 blue. Target player draws 7 cards for a sorcery. Twin Flame, which is a 1 and a red sorcery with Strive. Twin Flame costs 2 and red more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target creatures you control. For each of them, put a token that's a copy of the creature onto the battlefield. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. And then Birthing Pod, which, if you don't know what that does...
It's one
It's
green
3 and a Phyrexian green. So pretty much 3 mana and 2 life. 1 and 1 Phyrexian, so 1 and 2 life. Sack a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. That's worded kind of awkwardly.
Yeah, it is a little bit. All right, so we've got Birthing
Red,
Pod.
blue, and green.
So we're immediately in Temur colors.
Tamur.
All right, so we've got Birthing Pod.
Yo, free my
a
man
draw
Temur.
spell on a sorcery, and a copy spell.
Yes. They're all technically sorcery speed, even though Birthing Pod's an artifact.
Yo, who made up this fucking list? All this shit's high as shit.
If you sack a token... Oh, no, token copies have the CMC of the creature.
No,
They do. The one, at least the ones Twin Flame creates.
Yeah, that's what I...
The ones Twin Flames creates.
And the first one was just draw 7 cards. So the first one we kind of just ignore because it's just drawing cards. Unless this is definitely not going to be a card drawing deck. So that's just going to be, oh, I need to draw cards.
What about a Birthing Pod theft deck? So
You really like theft, Aaron.
I
don't-
do, and I do miss that deck. But
Yes.
anyway, so now hear me out.
Were you mad at everyone scooping to you, Aaron?
Now, so you've got Birthing Pod or whatever. Twin Flame basically is kind of like a copy spell. What if you run all of like the active trees and style effects where you're stealing your opponent's creatures, then you're using them as Birthing Pod fodder to basically just go get whatever you can kind of fail to find even still. Like,
The thing about that is you need to know what their CMC is and if you have one of the next level for it.
well, not necessarily, because I'm pretty sure.
It has whatever you sacrifice, whatever you bring out with Birthing Pod has to be 1 plus the CMC of it.
Well, yeah, but the cool thing about Birthing Pod is the fact that sacking the creature is the cost. So even if you fail to find at that point, it doesn't matter. The creature's already gone.
Oh, so you just use it to get rid of a creature?
Basically, and then you'll run. You're in blue, so you can run just a bunch of like untapping shenanigans to kind of just slowly steal away your opponent's stuff. Maybe you can use it as a chain to get up to like an Eldrazi or something.
So you want to
This one's-
use Active Treason, which is 2 and a red, and then play Birthing Pod, which is 1 and a green, or 1 and 2 life.
1 and 2 life.
For a total of 4 mana to sacrifice an opponent's creature and maybe not even get anything out of it. That's a pretty
Yeah,
bad
the most convoluted
deal.
murder ever. I know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like, if they got indestructible or something like that, since murder isn't going to work on them anyway, so sacking the creature could help.
You're also non-black, so you don't even have access to murder in the
Exactly,
first
that's my
place.
point.
I'd rather just chuck a beast within Adam and be done with it.
What you got?
Rico of the Two Reflections.
Oh no, he actually found the commander. Oh shit.
Oh no.
Riku of the Two Reflections. It's 2 Temur, or blue, red, green. Legendary creature, human wizard, 2/2. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay a blue and a red. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. So, that card draw card that I said you wouldn't work with, this copies it. So for 2 more mana, you're drawing 14 cards.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay a green and a blue. If you do, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. Don't get me wrong, doesn't work with the tokens that you generate, but you can grab... So whatever creature you birthing pot out, say you somehow birthing pot up to a Craterhoof Behemoth. Now you copy it for 2 mana.
Or even so, if you're running a birthing pod deck anyway, you typically have a bunch of untappers. So you could have birthing pod.
Like intruder alarm.
Yeah, similar to that. Like you can have birthing pod into this thing that will untap it in response to the trigger. I'm gonna make a copy of it. That one triggers first, untaps, sacrifice the one that just did it, go get something else, and then the second trigger untap. All right, yeah. So you
get out some cool creatures that do cool things, and then you just make an army token copy of them. You get out your Craterhoof Behemoth. Like I said, I love Craterhoof Behemoth, even though I don't own one. You play your Craterhoof Behemoth, and then you make a token copy of it with this, and then you make 1,000,000 copies of it with your red card, and you just kill everybody with stompy big boys.
All right, so even though I know what the answer is, Judge?
Well, RJ had a coherent answer and a idea. You just kind of had a bunch of mutters. You're like, well, maybe if I do this and this. You didn't even give me a commander.
They didn't seem like they just worked together, but RJ's just like, oh no, hold my beer. Like,
I just went on Scryfall and typed in the 3 colors and looked at legends, and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah, point goes to RJ.
Round 5.
I'm at a point and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, 51.5 points. You're at a half a point. He's at 201.
Yeah, because you're at 50. Yeah. All right.
This seems a fair and balanced point system.
Of course. Welcome to the points don't matter.
Welcome to the Planeswalker Pub, where the topics are made up and the hosts don't matter. Since we seem to have a constant revolving door of new people we bring in.
When's Pope coming back? Our list now. Unwinding Clock.
Okay, watch the next 2 not be artifacts.
Omnath Locus of Rage.
Okay.
And the best of all, Felidar Sovereign.
So, Omnath
can't
can't be the commander, or else you can't use Felidar Sovereign.
Right.
So you need to do... Locus of Rage is Gruul.
Yeah.
So that's green, red, white. All right, so after a deliberation, I've come up with a partner.
So,
Commanders.
Okay, go ahead.
Akiri Lineslinger and Tana the Bloodsower. Akiri is a legendary creature, core soldier. First strike vigilance gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, and as partner. And Tana is 2/2 with trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. And it also has partner. So, with Akiri out, all those mana rocks you have, pump her up. And with the clock, the mana rocks untap. So you're free to use them to cast more spells. Felidar Sovereign or Guardian?
The one that
Sovereign. Win the game with life.
Oh. You could play some equipment like the Lockdown Warhammer to gain life and win with it.
I'm not giving y'all any hints until after you both say something.
All right.
And the last card was Omnath. and he gives you angry boys when you play lands. And then when those angry boys die, he gets even angrier and deals direct damage. So that can contribute to the Sapperling army that the one of your partners was making.
All right, so that sounds cool. Don't get me wrong, sounds dope. However, I got something that's slightly better.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Let me talk about Sakama Primal Calamity. All right, so it's 6. So it's 6 red, green, white for a legendary creature 9/9. It has Vigilance, Reach, Trample, and when it enters a battlefield, if you cast it, which obviously you did, untap all lands you control. It also has 3 activated abilities. 2 in a red, deals 3 damage to target creature. 2 in a green, destroy target artifact and enchantment. 2 in a white, you gain 3 life. So, with this on the field, this is your commander, by the way. You're basically going artifact tribal with... You're basically going artifact tribal. And just all of the possible tap artifacts, like we're talking like, all of the signets in these particular colors. You're going Gilded Lotus. You're just basically getting a stupid amount of mana. You're also going, not so much the landfall portion of it. I know that Locust God or the Omnath is technically in there, but you're naturally running 3 colors, so you're going to be running a bunch of fetches and stuff like that anyway, and just blowing up everyone's stuff on everyone else's turns, because you've got the unwinding clock on there, and you also have the 3 mana. Let's say there's nothing good on target-wise. You've got a bunch of mana, just flood into Sakama to gain 3 life every single time to basically just win with the Felidar on your turn. This is one of those things that, your idea is cool, but you didn't have a mana sink. This is your mana sink. It's on your commander. And it's like, oh, they'll just kill Sakama. Who cares? We got a fuck ton of artifacts. They'll just recast it again and again and again. Judge. You don't like the idea?
Neither of them were stellar.
What?
You barely used Omnath. You kind of used... Tana was with lands, wasn't it? Like, lands makes beetles or something.
No, Tana is the amount of damage she deals. You make that many Sapperlings and has Trample.
Okay, so... Oh, I don't know, man. This is a really hard combination. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like... Neither of you really utilized Omnath that much. He utilized Omnath a bit more with the damage he's dealing. Is it only the damage she deals you make Sapperlings, or...?
Yeah.
Neither of you really utilized Omnath at all. You're like, oh, a bunch of mana rocks with Unwinding Clock. Like, that's the only thing you can do with Unwinding Clock is play a bunch of mana rocks. And then, I don't even remember what the third card was. Felidar Sovereign. He actually, I think I have to go with Aaron on this, because he at least had a way to gain life, and you win with the Felidar Sovereign. So it's sort of, it worked a bit better.
I had equipment, but it wasn't really.
You're going to deal like,
you got to attack.
Damage.
I just need to sit there and just pass the turn and just keep gaining a fuck ton of life every single time. Because it's like, all right, I tap out for like 20 or whatever, flood that into this life gain. On RJ's turn, do it again. On Eric's turn, do it again.
Yeah, that works a bit better.
Or just blow up everyone's shit.
All right, Aaron, you are going to get 200 points.
Hey, my man's just throwing out 200 points like it's nothing.
The thing is, Eric is still above you by a half a point.
I know. All right. Actually, I don't think I gave you anything yet. It's fine. On the screen right now is all the current points. But this does bring us to a very cool point, which is what we all are excited about, which is going to be Last Call!
Last call?
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right, so final thoughts and a question to the people listening is, what did you think about the game? Did any of these crazy deck ideas actually spark a new idea for you? I know that the Board Wipe Tribal, it sounds literal cancer, like actual I need to go get something, but I would enjoy fighting against it, question mark.
There's stacks, which keeps you from playing Magic, but then there's I'm just gonna remove your resources.
Yeah, because he splashed blue with it too, so it's like counter spells, board wipes, land destruction, and you're exiling all your shit. So it's literally just like someone just comes over, they're like, oh, what's this, turn 0? Nah, man, it's turn 59. Like, what?
We have no lands, no cards in hand, and no creatures.
Just been
Neither does
duressing.
he. So we're just staring at each other.
I like it. All right, so I do actually want to thank everyone actually for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button this week and stay up to date on all the newest episodes. I also want to thank our friends over at tcgplayer.com. In the description box below is our affiliate link to go to TCG Player. You're going to be buying cards anyway, so why not help the channel at the same time? I also want to thank our subscribers, which have rolled up on screen at this point. So you guys are awesome. I love you guys to death. Happy New Year, guys. Technically, you're hearing this after New Year, so hopefully that's worked out. Hope you're keeping to your New Year's resolutions and haven't immediately quit like we have. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But until then, we'll see you guys next time.